Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another time out here. Welcome to another time here at the book club. We're gonna do this every Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. West African time. It's just our time, opportunity, privilege to run through a book and absorb, soak everything we can from it and learn from it and see how it applies to our lives and see adjustments we can make in making our lives better, having a better experience, having a better human experience, our purpose, our intent for being here, something that can make our work better, So that's what we got to do Sunday afternoons out here. So welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for making it out here. Uh, thanks for coming. This is a sixth book we're doing in this series. We started doing this back in 2021. We've done five books so far. This is the sixth one we're on right now. We've been reading this book since first Sunday in July of last year. And we're presently in chapter 7. This is our seventh take in chapter 7. So we're gonna take this time, and we're probably gonna have at least one more time together in chapter 7 before we move on to chapter 8. So today we're gonna finish what we started with last week. We're talking about two kinds of emotions, that are most indicative of our relationship. Two of the emotions that are most indicative, predictive of where our relationships are and where they are headed. And we said that those two emotions are empathy. And we spent last week talking about what empathy is. Empathy is the ability to sense and absorb the energy in your environment. It's the ability to be able to sense, the emotions of other people and respect same. Put yourself in the same shoe, the same side that the others are, and relate with them in a way that you would want to be related with if you were in their shoes. Empathy is our place where we begin to live, the golden rule, right? The golden rule is that do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. So empathy is our place where we switch position with the person we're relating with, and we similarly take in the energy their energy and similarly relate accordingly, to where they are. It's as it were, we come down to their level and relate with them at that level. We're not throwing things across the fence. We're not walking in silos, but we join with others in the same silo where they are and relate with them accordingly, right? That's what empathy is, I will spend the whole of last Sunday talking around that. We also emphasize also that there's a personality type, that is called the empath. The empath, that's empathy without the Y. Empaths are people, that embody this emotion, right? There are people that are very sensitive to energy, in their environment and respond accordingly, right? And it's okay, right, if they have their boundaries. The weakness of that personality type is that they could be enslaved by the energy, by the emotions of others, right? And I know that because I am one, right? You could be enslaved by the emotions of others, so it is a good thing to be an empath. Empathy is great. However, it has its boundaries, right? We're not here to solve world hunger, right? You are not God. You are not supposed to play God in other people's life. I have lived my life trying to play God in other people's life. It does not work because I don't have the same resources as God does. I am limited. I am human. I am limited. I am human. irrespective of where my position is. I am limited. I am human. So I can only do according to the strength that I have. I can only operate according to the resources I have. And I also have priorities in my own life also. So I don't get carried away by the immediacy and forget about the things that are priority in my life. I don't get too carried away by the urgent, that I miss the important things in my life. So those are, as it were, pitfalls of the empire, or pitfalls when you begin to operate or relate with the affection called empathy, right? I want you the emotion called empathy. It's a good one, but you have to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries, and those boundaries must honor the priorities in your life. You have to ahead of time determine what those priorities are, and never allow those priorities to be at the mercy of the seeming urgent of the moment, right? Great. I'm not going to spend too much time repeating what we did last week. Thanks, Uriel, for coming along. Good to have you. So thanks. Feel free to comment. Feel free to lend your voice to what we're sharing. We're here streaming on Instagram Live. When I'm done, it's going to be on my reel. We're also streaming on YouTube at the same time, and later on, it's going to be posted on Facebook. So feel free. Thanks for coming along. Today, we're going to talk about the other emotion, right? Is affection. And this is so important to me, so special to me, as much as I'm an empath, it kind of affects, the way I relate with affections also. I'm pretty much an emotional person, you know you will expect that as an impact, right? But we'll share, and I'll share a bit of my life, and feel free to share yours also. Hope you learn something from it. Like I always got to do, I do have a slide prepared for this moment, so I'm going to bring up a slide here as we go along. Instagram Live, there's no provision for you to see the slides, but if you ever find your way in YouTube, on my channel, Hacking a Keyboard, you will see the slides there, but you're not going to miss anything because you have all you need, which is me, right? Slides is just an added asset, but I'm going to bring that up, and we'll just flow along and share our time together looking at affections, which is part of chapter 7 of this book. All right. Thank you. All right. I brought up my slides for those on YouTube. You'll be able to see my slide, and those on my blog also be able to see my slides, right? So I'm streaming here also on my blog. I do have a blog, uncleakin.com. So I get to stream on YouTube, my blog, and here also on Instagram Live. It's a book we're looking at is A Good Life, and it's written by two guys, Robert Waldinger and Marc Schulz. They are leads at the Harvard School for study of the adults, human adult development. They've been doing a study of what it takes to live a good quality life, what it takes to live a good life in terms of living long and having the breadth in that life, having the quality in that life. It's not just living long, but living a good long life, in health, in fulfillment, enjoyment, having a complete human experience for which we're here. And they've been trying to find that how. This study's been going on for more than 85 years. They've had several generations they've studied. And the result of the study is pretty much that what takes, to have a good quality life is relationships. It's also having the right relationships in our life and making those relationships be quality relationship. It's not just having a relationship, but having quality relationship, having a quality interface with others, that is a win-win, where there's a cross flow across between each other, right? It's not a parasitic relationship. It's not a win-lose, a lose-win. It's a win-win or no deal. A relationship where there's a blessing of one another, what we call the paradox of relationship, paradox of a healthy relationship is one in which two or more people come together because of what they can give, not what they can get. What they can give, not what they can get. What they can give, not what they can get. They come together because of what they can give. However, what keeps that relationship alive, prosperous, life-giving, healthy, you know, is what they get, not what they give. It's a paradox. It's called a paradox of a healthy relationship. We come together because of what we can give, but what keeps us together and makes it quality and prolonged is what each person gets from it, not what they give. Right? So if we don't go into a relationship because of what we can get, but for what we can give. However, what keeps it together, what makes it quality is because of what we get then from it, not what we give, right? So we're talking about having quality relationship in in the different facets, different areas of our life, and if we do that, then we'll have a good life, right? And I've been had that conclusion. The book has also been taking us through how to have this quality relationship, quality, healthy relationship in the different areas of our life. Chapter 7 is pretty much talking about the one-to-one relationship, which is typically with your spouse, your partner, you know, so that's what we've been looking at, more than focused on in chapter 7. Title of chapter 7 is the person beside you. It could also be used, for other one-to-one relationship, with your friend, your sister, your brother, your colleague, you know, you can use that in a wider spectrum, but the real focus is, in terms of you and your spouse, your partner, but everything that we talk about there relates to or every other one-to-one relationship in our lives, right? So we've been going through different parts here, and this is our seventh take, and pretty much the quote we've been using to run this chapter has been this quote talking about the importance of being vulnerable. You can't have a relationship unless you're vulnerable. The theme between you and someone else must allow a flow from both sides. The flow from you to them to you. That if you're not vulnerable, you can't have a relationship. A lot of people, close up because someone hurt them, right? Because someone hurt them, they are forever a prisoner. Because someone hurt them, they feel that, oh, the way not for someone not to hurt me is to just shut it. Right? Yeah, you're shutting away from hurt, but you're also shutting away from love. You're shutting away from love, because it's that same place through which love comes in. The same place through which hurt comes in is the same way through which love comes in. You cannot shut it in. If you shut it all together, you will live less than human. You cannot live a complete life without all this. The essence of our life is not found inside of us, nor is it found in any of our pets. The essence of a human life is not in your pet. Your dog, your cat cannot replace other human beings. To live to the fullness of being human, the fullness to which you were created, you need other human beings in your life, not pets. Yes, pets have their own place, but they will never replace another human being, right? If someone has hurt you before, learn the lesson from it and do better next time. Engage better next time. Don't shut yourself away from engagement. Don't be a prisoner to your experience. Rather, use your experience to transcend, as a catalyst to live a better life, a higher life. Let it explode you to something better, much, much better than you could ever have, not imprison you, right? So vulnerable, you have to be vulnerable. The extent to which you're vulnerable is the extent to which you will relate to someone else. You're not going to be able to relate with a closed door, right? And we last week we looked again, as we did about some 3 weeks ago, on emotions. We kind of introduced that emotions, right? And we'll just look at emotions because we're emotional beings. The only way we can relate to others is because of our emotions. Robots don't have emotions, so they cannot have human relationship, right? What makes us be able to relate with another person is emotions, is the energy in motion. Right? We create energy that flow between us and others, and that is what keeps relationships alive or dead, right? So, excuse me. The American Psychological Association, defines emotions as a conscious mental reaction. It is conscious, it's not unconscious. You have to be alive to it. If you're not alive to your emotions, it's not emotion. So people that are depressed, you know, similarly don't have emotions. They their sensitivities are depressed, right? Emotions requires you to be conscious mentally, and you are reacting to something, right? Because emotion is simply energy in motion. Emotion is simply energy, right? So it's a conscious mental reaction, which is subjective, it's not objective. It doesn't have a sense or direction of its own. That energy gets created because someone did something, someone initiated something. Emotions don't just happen of their own accord. They are reacting to something that someone did. Someone did something, therefore that thing created or caused energy to be made available. Energy, because energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So that energy came from something. Someone did something, and as a result of that, energy got moved from one form to another. That energy that was available then, and emotional energy can come from in different form, right? The sexual energy also, you know, which is an emotion. Sexual energy is an emotion, right? Uh, so emotion is a conscious mental reaction which has no sense nor direction of its own, right? And we experience it as strong feelings, which could be towards anything, an object, a flower, a person, and typically it includes some kind of feeling in our body, and changes it tries to influence some changes in our body, but it's up to us then to direct that energy. If we don't direct that energy, it kill us. It will make us slaves, right? But our right place is to use emotions, not allow emotions to use us. When emotions uses us, we're said to have lost our senses. Whereas it were mad. We have lost our mind, right? When your mind is in the right place, when you have your mind together, you use your emotions. Your emotions does not use you. A sound mind is one that holds the emotions together and gives the emotions direction and sense. When the emotions control you, you are said not to have a sound mind. Scripture, the Bible says that he that cannot control his feelings is like a city without walls, a city that has no protection, right? So emotions are things we should control. They're meant for us to control. And when it comes to relationships, emotions drive relationships. You can't say you have a relation with someone you don't have any feelings for or any emotions towards, or if you're dead towards a person, then there's nothing between you, whether it be friendship or whatever else. Not every type of emotion is equally predictive of the health of a relationship. We talked about that last week, but we said there are two main ones, and those are empathy and affection. And we spent our time last week talking about what empathy is. Today, we're going to focus on affection. What are affections, right? Affection is a gentle feeling of warmth. So when you have an affection towards someone, you have a warmth. You know, when they mention the person's name, when the person touches you, or when the memory of the person comes to you, you have a certain feeling of coming alive, right? Affection is a gentle feeling of warmth, a gentle feeling of coming alive, you know, of caring. Someone they mention that person's name and you want to hear more. Damn, you want to hear more. You see that person, you want to see again. Affection is a gentle feeling of warmth, of coming alive, of caring, of liking, of liking. If you have affection towards that person, you like the person. If you have affection towards a person, you care about the person, right? And fondness, right? You are fond of the person. You want to be where that person is. You want to be close to that person. You want to touch that person. You want to hear that person. You want that person to see you. You want that person to touch you. You want that person to mention your name. You know. So when you have all of these, that's what affection is, right? So it's also the action or process of affecting or being affected. I love that. Affection, if you have affection towards a person and you're affected by that person, you're not indifferent to that person, right? When you're indifferent to a person or thing, you have no affections toward that person. But if that a person or thing affects you, changes your mood, makes you torn, makes you come alive, you know, makes you interested, you know, then you have an affection towards that thing. You care about that pet thing, you mind that thing, you like that thing, you are fond of that thing, you have a warm feeling towards that thing, and that is called affection, right? That's what affection is simply. You know, it's being affected by something, being fond of something, liking something, you know. The different ways in which we show affection, right? Some of it is by organ, you know. I love hugging people. Even when I worked in a place where it could be prohibited, I have to ask permission to hug, you know. I love hugging. I'm a hugging machine, you know. Anyone who knows me knows I love hugging, right? But I have to be careful also in hugging. Also, unless it gets interpreted as something else, you know. So because I love hugging, just tells you I'm affected by people. I love people. I love people. That's been my life. Always been my life. I love people. You know, I'm an empath. Don't forget. You know, I get absorbed by the emotions of all this. You know, but I love hugging. Yeah, and that's one of the ways we show affection by hugging someone, you know, by kissing someone, you know, whether it be a romantic kiss, a platonic kiss, a French kiss, or whatever. But that's one of the ways we show affection, right? You kiss someone's forehead, you kiss someone's cheek, you kiss someone's hand. You know, you're just saying that you're affected by that person, or and you're wanting that person to be affected by you also. You know, another way we show is by cuddling, you know, just cuddling, just holding somebody, you know. And I do that, you know, just holding somebody, just giving the person warmth, you know. It's or being warmed up by somebody, you know. Also by holding hands, right? A lot of people show that by holding hands, you know, when they're walking the street, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, holding hands, just a way to show I care, I love you, you know, and I'm showing it to the whole world that I'm affected by you, you know. So that's another way. Those are ways of showing affection, hugging, kissing, cuddling, holding hands, you know. Uh, So other ways in which we get to show affection is by patting someone's back. I do that a lot. You know, I just sometimes I kind of laugh at myself. You know, I get to pat people's back, I rub people's back. You know, rub people's back. You know, wrapping your hands around another's shoulder or waist also is another way of showing it. You know, just putting your hand around someone else. You know, just showing you love the person, you care about the person, When it comes to the opposite sex, obviously you have to watch the environment, and do it with decorum. There are those that you won't do to somebody you're not close to. You have to do with decorum, but those are just ways of showing affection. We do it by sending cards, sending gift to somebody, just showing you care. Also reassuring someone when they are down. Just words of encouragement. Those are ways of showing affection to people. You know, um, some people, I'm gonna go there. All right. Another way to show affection is also by discussing positives in the relationship. When to show affection to someone, to strengthen the relationship, it's by focusing on the good, not the bad. If you're focusing on the bad, then you're going to destroy the relationship. That's not bad in every relationship. We're not perfect, but if you want to show affection, you want to build the relationship, you focus on the good things. I've been married for be 26 years, I guess. 26, right? It'll be 26 years next month. I'll be married, right? Our marriage is not perfect. I'm not perfect. My wife is not perfect. Even this afternoon, I was almost feeling offended by something. You know, she's not perfect. I had to choose my battles, choose where to focus on. I mean, we all have good, strong points. We have negative ones also. So you have to ask yourself if you want to build or you want to destroy. Then that will determine what you focus on, right? So I focus on the good because I want to build. If I focus on the negative, that's not affection, right? I focus on the positive because there's a lot of positive. And even though there might be negatives, there's a lot of positives. This person is a good person, as much as this person has some faults, just like everyone does. But this person has a good motive. This person's a good person, and you have to then choose to grow in love, to build your relationship, to build your marriage. You focus on the positives, right? Yeah. It's just like I used to have a fund manager that for every initiative I want to do, he always finds 1,000 reasons why it won't work. And I just try to explain to him that it's been negative, and he feels, oh, shouldn't we talk about the things that might go wrong? Yes, there will always be things that can go wrong. I know that. Why not focus on the things that can go right? Yes, we're going to look at the things that can go wrong, and we'll put mitigations in place. But let's focus on the way to go right because we want to do it. We're not saying it's easy. We're not doing it because it's easy. We're doing it because it makes money. It's profitable. It's the way our company is going to grow. So we're going to focus on doing it. While focusing on doing it, yes, as the issues come up, we'll address them. But we don't kill it before we even start. You don't build affection. You don't show affection by focusing on the negatives. Not the way you feel, but how the other person will feel. If you're controlled by talking about the negative, then you have a problem. You lack control. You lack self-regulation. You don't have a control of yourself. You're not sound in mind. If you're sound in mind, you'll know how to build, not to destroy. I remember one time we were having a meeting, and it was supposed to be a team building event, and my project leader at that point in time had some negatives. Yet she was such a beautiful person, beautiful lady, beautiful Colombian lady that I love dearly. And I believe she did love me also dearly. I mean, like you might say, we're not in romantic relationship, but it was a platonic, team relationship. But we had an opportunity to talk about different things, and I talked about the things that were wrong, and I regret doing that. I talked about our faults. I don't think she forgave me that. Or whatever it was, he probably didn't hear the right way. You don't show affection by focusing on the negative. Yes, there are things to be addressed, maybe find some private way to do it at the right time to do it. But let it be known that you're doing it out of love. Catch the person at the right time, in the right place, in the right way. But in a place where you have shown enough affections to be able to chip that in. When you're showing affection, it's by focusing on the positive things. Offer to be there if someone is depressed. Just being with somebody is a way of showing affection. Most times when people have losses, they're not looking for your words. They're just looking for your presence. Someone has lost somebody dear to them. It's not the words you say that's going to make that person calm down or feel comforted. Your presence is much more than the words you say. So if you don't have good words to say, shut up and just be there. Just be there. Just let the person know you are there to help. You're there to do some things for the person that you might not be able to do at that point in time. But just be there, just to comfort, just to hold, just to hug, just to hold, just to pat the back, just to be present. Just your presence is a show of affection. Your attention, your person is the greatest gift you can ever give to somebody else. It's not your money. Yes, your gift can show it, but there's something more than your gift. If you can give it, your time, your attention, your presence is on a higher scale than your gift, your money. Another way it's also by cracking jokes. Right, or by cracking jokes, being humorous, making the other person laugh. Right, it's another way by which we show affection. And I love to do that. I love to do that. All right. So those are different ways of showing affection, to someone else. Then one of all some of these fall into what we call Charles Capps. I mean, what's his name now? Capps is the last part of it. Comes up with what we call the five love languages. And the five love languages just talking about the way we all, as much as we've talked about the general way by which you show affection, there are also specific ways that move some people. There are ways that don't move some people. There are things that move others. And this been pretty much been put into what is called the five love languages. It's kind of popular. Uh, the guy that popularized this is, I think it's Charles. No, it's not Charles Capps for sure. Something Capps anyway. But one of it, the first one he has is the words of affirmation. Words are important to someone like me, but it's not important to everybody. For some people, words of affirmation will show love, will show that you love them, but not everybody. Someone has probably had all the affirmation they need in their life from the authority figures in their life when they were growing up. Probably couldn't be bothered if you give words of affirmation. Maybe that's not where they feel they feel affected by someone else. But for someone like me, that means a lot to me. I'll tell you, when you use the right words, it makes me even feel romantic. It makes me feel sexual. just to be blank with it. But so words of affirmation is a love language for me. It affects me when you use the right words. When you see those special words, I feel it. It affects me romantically. It affects me uh platonically. It affects me sexually. But words of affirmation is it for me, but not necessarily for everyone. Some people speak all the words you want because of their life history. People have said such words to them, and those words have fallen to the ground. So now those words don't mean much to them. Right? So that might not be their love language. Right? For me, someone like me, it is. It means a lot. Words mean a lot to me. Maybe also because I'm a teacher, right? People call me wordsmith. Right? Words are important to me because I'm a communicator, so I have to get the right words to be able to pass the message I want to pass across. So words mean a lot to me, and that is a love language for me. You can arouse me by using the right words. I just have to get my own head in the right place. I don't know. For some people, it's quality time, spending quality time with them. You know, Quality time probably is not so a love language for me. I'm just, I'm an introvert. I love seclusion. I love time alone. So if you spend too much time with me, it's not a love language for me. I'm gonna want to get rid of you. It's not as much a love language for me spending quality time because I spend a lot of time just I love myself. I spend a lot of time with myself. I spend a lot of time to study. I spend a lot of time to read. Uh, so someone coming into that space for me probably is not a love language for me. For some other people, it is, especially people that are extroverts. They want people that are going to talk with them, joke with them, all of that stuff. Yes, it might be a love language for some people. And if you can spend that time with them, you might get them, it might affect them. You might get them romantic. You might get them, feel platonic or sexual. For women, possibly. I remember one time, there was a friend of mine. I wasn't married then, but I had someone I was chasing after. But I had a friend who was sick, and I used to visit. But that was then resulting to her feeling emotionally attached. So the quality time for her was affection. It made a difference for her. But I was just doing it just to be a brother, but for her, that was affection, So sometimes you need to know that what does not necessarily tick or move the needle for you might move the needle for someone else. What might not mean anything to you might mean a lot to someone else. So you need to be sensitive as to the message you're passing across, right? For me, then it was like I was passing a message of being interested. So I had to cut myself away. I had to stay away, right? Just to put things in perspective, but spending quality time, it could be a way of showing affection to somebody, you know. Yeah, irrespective of me being an introvert and loving seclusion, I need to spend time with my wife. You know, I'm not going to build my relationship with my wife. I'm not going to build my marriage if I don't spend time with her. So I have to find some time, some way to spend time with her, even as against it not being necessarily my love language, but it is our love language, right? So I need to go against whatever nature says. That's why we say marriage is not necessarily automatic. A marriage is you gotta work it, right? Maybe it doesn't take the needle for me, but it does for her. So I gotta pay the sacrifice to do it just to build our relationship, right? The third one is physical touch. Almost like every other one. Physical touch is a love language for me. I don't know but maybe not for everybody, but for me, it is. It is. That's probably another love language for me. It means a lot to me, and it makes me romantic, platonic, sexual, so, um, it is a way of showing affection to me, and I do that to others also. I gotta touch people just to show I care. I remember I was chasing after somebody, and I used to almost like punch. For me, it wasn't a punch; it was just a way of lightly touching her shoulder. She used to say that he's hurting her, but for me, I know I wasn't putting energy into it. But for me, it was a way of showing affection, just to show that I'm fond of her. But she's put a lot of negativity to that you know, I felt a sense of rejection doing that. But for me, I do that to a lot of people. I hit people with my hand, just friends, you know, uh, but it means a lot. That's a love language for me. It means a lot for someone to touch me also, right? So that's a way of showing affection for me. That's a way I show affection to other people also. So you need to know, it means a lot when my wife touches my chest. It does mean a lot to me. I wish she knows that and she can do more of it. But yeah, we're all different. So that is for me, right? Acts of service, my wife loves act of service. That's the way she shows affection. That doesn't move a needle for me. Acts of service. I'm a hard worker. Yeah, it's not for me. I don't show love. I don't show affection by acts of service. Now, does someone doing acts of service for me move the needle for me? Right. It's not for me. It is for my wife. It is for some people, but not for someone like me. So you need to know yourself, you need to know others. Yeah, my wife will love it for me to do things for her too. So I have to do it, but I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because it moves her. It doesn't move my needle. Receiving gifts. This kind of a shaky one for me. Neither here nor there. Receiving gifts, yes, I love money. Who doesn't? Receiving gifts could mean a lot to me. I know when I was chasing someone, it meant a lot that the person didn't observe my birthday. That meant a lot to me. I felt the non-shown of affection, which probably one of the reasons I ended up breaking up with that person. So yes, in that sense, I would say receiving gifts, it moves the needle for me. So for some people it doesn't, you know, but it does for me, but not not as high as physical touch, nor as high as words of affirmation. It will probably be number three for me. So I guess number one for me will be words of affirmation. Number two for me will be physical touch. Number three will be receiving gifts, in that order. Quality time, acts of service, you can throw those ones away. But we're all different. I don't know what it is for you, but or what's important is you need to know what works for you. Um, what could what could turn your head when you have to know it's all as much as it's a strength, it could also be a weakness. Someone that knows it can use it against you. Someone can get you by using this as a bait. So you need to know where your strength is, what is your weakness. As much as this three affect me, fill my affection tank, it could be both a strength and a weakness. So I need to know that. So you need to know what it is for you. What's your love language? Right? Some people just throw it away, love language. It is important. It's not to be used as an excuse. It's just something to know who you are, know your strength, know your weaknesses, and help to moderate yourself, help to moderate your energy, and control yourself in different circumstances. So I hope that helps you. Let me move on here. All right. If a couple can cultivate the bedrock of affection and empathy, meaning curiosity and the willingness to listen, their bond will be more stable and enduring, right? If anybody cultivates affection, knows in what way they can affect their spouse, and understand also where they are, where they want to go to, you know, and then be able to relate her right, that can help build your marriage, the bedrock of your marriage, the foundation of your marriage. You can work on these two emotions and it will help uh build the core of your marriage. So they're important and they can make a big difference in marriages. I'm going to close here with all right, I think I moved things. All right, that goes to next week. I left a slide there, which is for next week. We're gonna close with these two quotes here today. Today is not one of those days that we eat against the 1 hour mark. So let's use this two close quotes here and we'll be done today. Uh, the only reward of virtue is virtue. Right? If you have virtue and you work on the things you should work on, you will get the same in return, right? What you sow, you will reap. The only way to have a friend is to be one. When you work on these two emotions, empathy, affection, then you will have friends. You'll have a spouse. You'll have a marriage. You'll have children, because you can use the same also for your children, right? Love is something you and I must have. We must have it because our spirit feeds upon it. Love feeds us metaphysically. The word metaphysical is a word beyond physical. I did put that on Facebook yesterday, and someone didn't understand. I was asking questions, or was it this morning? Love feeds, love fills us up. It feeds us, it feeds our hunger, and it quenches our thirst. Love fills us metaphysically. It fills our spirit up, right? We must have it, because without it, we become weak and faint. When you don't have love, you become depressed. You begin to uh, look down on yourself. You feel you're not worthy. Don't forget again, our essence is found outside of ourselves. And our essence is found with the people we relate with, we love, and they love us too, right? So without love, our self-esteem weakens. Without it, our courage fails. Without love, we can no longer look out confidently at the world, you know. And this is by one of the indigenous Indians in Canada, right? I'll take that again. Love is something you and I must have. We must have. We are children of love. We're created in love to love and be loved. We must have it because our spirit feeds upon love, right? Our spirit feeds upon love. And one of the way we get fed is by people having empathy on us, people having affection towards us, and we doing the same for other people, right? We must have it because without it, we become weak and faint. When we don't have love in our life, we don't have someone to care about us, someone who is affected by us, and someone who affects us, someone who thinks about us, we become weak and faint. Without love, our self-esteem weakens. We see ourselves less. Without it, our courage fails. Without love, we can no longer look out confidently at the world. We need people in our life to be able to fight the enemy at the gate, right? So next week we're going to continue here. We didn't look at things, how loss affects us, affects our love quantum. But that's all I have for you this week. That's just talking about affection this week. I hope you learned something. I hope you got something out of it. Any question for me, feel free to drop it on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram Live, and I can answer you. I hope you learned something from our time together. Till next time, God bless you. Have a great week ahead. Shalom. Thanks, Uriel, for joining with me. I hope you got something from it. See you next week.